We are live on the crew. Simon says crypto coming out of the blue. We're going to make sure we are 100% live. Boy, am I singing really is good. Oh, we got one person. Oh, we got Stable Crew in the chat. Awesome possum. Happy Sunday, everybody. It is a glorious Sunday. I'm just going to go check the feed over here real quick just to make sure we are good to go. And we are 100% streaming. I got 14 individuals in here. I like that. I can see that. I don't think I could read the comments. I'm going to post something. Let's see if we got comments rocking and rolling over here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hi, everyone. We're working on getting Zip tips in the house. Alan, your beard looks good. All right. Yeah, thank you, Becky. Hilltop, what's going on? Blue Bus, how you doing? Good to man, universe works in mysterious ways, doesn't it? I'm gonna make a few adjustments here to my settings in regards to my visual effects. Let's adjust some of this real quick. Let's see if I can do that. It won't let me do it. We're gonna go with that. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Robert, good to see you, my friend. So I'm helping out Mr. Allen today. Clearly I'm not the always looking dapper Mr. Allen Staple. But today we also have Zips Tips is coming on to co-host. So we are just momentarily going to be waiting for that individual while we get this thing rocking and rolling. But man, it's been a while since I have been on the crew. You guys have been getting some great content from Alan. I know it. I definitely know it. It's good things. Who's excited for the January event? That's I'm excited for that. I would love to be somewhere warmer when I'm in somewhere where it's cold as opposed to cold. We are going to invite here. I want to add that. Copy the link. Atlantic Living. Excuse me, everybody. I know. Go get some more coffee or biscuits and gravy or whatever you having this morning. What did you have for breakfast this morning? I had a nice little egg dish actually with sausage, bacon, cheese. Oh, it's delicious. It's the lazy man's breakfast casserole, which I can't take full credit for creating that. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure. We're just going to send a text message with the link out this way to Mr. Allen. Link. Groovy. Say what? Muddy P, what's in the house tonight too? Praying I can make it. Yeah, I will be going down to Florida in January. I'm excited about that because I know some of you all will get to be there, and I know some of you were able to come to XRP Las Vegas, and some of you were not able to come to XRP Las Vegas, which totally cool. I mean, like if you can, it's awesome. If you can't, don't worry about it. Try to catch the next one if you can. If it's feasible, if it makes sense to you, you know, different strokes for different folks. But if you're able to come out to Alan's event that he's having out there in a place in Florida, you know, I'm a man of mysteries. And at the end of January, it's going to be a good time, and I look forward to meeting you, some of you that I haven't been able to shake hands or give hugs to. I do both, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. It's going to be a good thing. We have Atlantic Living says leadership convention in Calgary the same weekend as the XRP event, Florida, Calgary in January. Oh, tough choice. Yeah, that is a tough choice. That is a tough choice, Atlantic, 100%. Oh, Becky just says, just finished hash brown and eggs. Classic. Love me some hash brown and eggs. But the hash browns don't love me. Leanne, how you doing, Leanne? Happy Sunday, crew. Great to see you, Simon. Yeah, Universe did some things for me yesterday and got me in the seat today, so I'm happy about that. Miss Frankie Sanchez says, "What up, crew? Love to see the chat rocking and rolling here. Money Paradise in the house, of course. The Cisco kid, the Cisco kid was a friend of mine. Classic. Nelly, how you doing? Oh man. Well, I have been missing some good live content. I know this chat always is lighting up. And I know we're working on getting Zips tips in here, so because we're gonna tag team it and just fire from the hip, not on the ship, of course, because whole sink ships, just in case you're aware. Simon, did you get an opportunity to read the white paper? I did, but I got to read it again. I did read. Here's the question that Atlantic Living was asking. I did, but it was more of a skim over. I want to read it again when I'm going to carve out some quiet time, because none of us, I don't believe, really have any time. We have to just book an appointment for ourselves to do those things right there. I think there's some credibility there. And also there's this other one that seems to be kind of going around at least the XRP community, and that's Metallicus. But I haven't done my research on that either. I've been busy on some other non-crypto investments. So those have been exciting for me, as I've never really I just haven't had the right opportunity to participate in some of these things. So my focus has actually switched quite a bit to those. And then also a few other business opportunities as well. One of them I know I can totally talk about. I don't mind sharing it with you guys because I know my perspective in this project is really geared towards the retail investor. So that's the UMEs of the world. And I've spoken to Alan about it a few times, but we're not close to going live with anything. We are ironing out all the wrinkles for the beta test, and so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be tokenizing, doing a tokenization project, but we're trying to make sure we're staying in the right lane legally, because we are going to be using businesses for this tokenization. It's a really cool thing, in my opinion, because it gives us, the retail market, the ability to potentially help out a small viable business owner. Not businesses that are in distress, but it's kind of a unique situation. And I don't want to take up the whole show talking about that, but my point of all that was basically that I have been focusing a lot on tokenization, tokenization of real world assets. At what point do you become, does your token fall under the jurisdiction of the Securities Exchange Commission, and where does it not? And really kind of figuring all that out. It's been a great learning process. I can't say that it's been without frustration, but that's what happens. That's a byproduct of growth. When we grow, we hit frustrations and things like that. Yes, Miss Becky, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Hit that like button. Hit it. Hit the like. I think B-Man getting a day off. I wasn't privy to the intel. The Allen Staple Crew bat signal went up, and I showed up on the scene. So don't know the details there, but Alan and B-Man, they work so hard. I mean, they're here every Sunday, you know, and it's a symbiotic relationship, man. It's definitely a give and take, man. It's love for love, energy for energy. Really, that's probably one of their uh, biggest things that I could say that we as the stable crew talk about, or that we see within both these two gentlemen. It's their energy, you know, and that's what attracts us. Hold on, I think that's Mr. Zip Tips right now. Just give me one moment here. Simon says crypto.
Yo, Simon, this is Zip.
Hey Zip, we're live right now. I can mute my mic. You can give me an email, and I can email you a link. You can pop in here. Give my horse voice a break.
Okay, copy that.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready.
All right, stand by, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be right back. I'm right here. I'm just going to mute my mic. Guys, working on. I know. There's 34 of you, 27 of you. We're getting Zip in the house, man. We're gonna talk about some stuff because, man, he's dropping some good content. I mean, I can't say that we may or may not talk about the infinite banking concept. I mean, we might. It's one of our secret passions. He's been dropping a lot of gems over on his channel about it, which I'm very happy. It's very refreshing to hear somebody else's perspective. Okay, sounds like you got the email, ladies and gentlemen. Doing all right, sounds good. He's on the way. Thank you, Zip. Here he comes. We're gonna switch out headphones. All right. Hopefully I will be. Oh, I might not be able to add him to the thing, so I gotta call up. She's gonna have to add him. Just give me a moment. So let's see here. Back to here we go. He's coming in hot. Enter the studio. Add to stage. Okay. All right. Stand by. Stand by. Right back. I'm right here. I'm just gonna mute my mic. You were watching the YouTubes. He's got that. Hi, all. Hanging in there. Wealth is coming to us all. Yeah. Wealth is coming to us all. Thank you, Smee. Zip, my man. Oh, comment section. Let's see if I can do the live chat. Bob Russell has done extensive research. Okay, I'll give that. Thank you, Atlantic Living. Atlantic Living is referring to this comment right here.
Can you hear me, Simon?
Yeah, we're good to go.
You can hear me. Hold on, I still can't hear you.
Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, mic check. Can someone in the comment section give me a 5x5 if you guys can hear me in the comment section? Just doing a little technical background. See, everybody, this is what happens before the show starts.
I got you now, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good to go. 5x5. Evan Burke, thank you for the 5. I appreciate that.
Whew.
You made it.
I made it, buddy. Last
right.
minute changes. Glad to be here. Hope everyone's doing fantastic. Good to see you, brother Simon.
Man, it's good to see you too, man. What you think? I told you I could grow one.
Looking good, baby. Looking good. Yep. Coach caught us both off of the bench here last minute. We had some changes going on, so Alan's doing fantastic. I don't know. He's in the middle of Texas, he said, so he may not be in good comms.
Well, if I know Alan enough, he'll probably stop by Texas at a couple barbecue spots just to have a little bit. He is, for those that don't know, Mr. Alan Stable is a barbecue connoisseur. Some might use an alternative word of his ability to critique barbecue, but dang, he does a fantastic job. I can speak from personal experience. So if you ever get a chance to hang out with Alan and you think you got some good barbecue or you know a good spot, bring him in, buy him dinner, and you'll find out one way or the other. Now, Zip, you had a chance to hang out with Alan down in Florida last year, right?
I did at Rob's event that he did last what was that, last February, I think it was. Time is flying, but yeah, we had a great time down there. Great to finally meet Alan in person. Had been talking to Alan for about a year prior to that. So that's the great thing about technology. We can reach out and touch and communicate, but it's great. And I heard you in your intro to be able to reach out and hug someone.
Oh, isn't it everything? It's like the final beautiful nail in the universe coffin where you're just like, yes, I so needed this right here. It just solidifies everything that all of us have been kind of that we've been working on in this space. And it's not like that was our goal. That's just a beautiful byproduct of this digital asset space that we're in, and it's great to have crypto homies.
Absolutely. It's when all those frequencies start to align, and that everybody that you resonate with, you come together in that one. I've never been out to Las Vegas, but I can imagine that's on steroids with all those people with the same frequencies, shooting for the same thing, going for, obviously I've told Alan this before, and I think you, Simon, I came into this for money, profit, no doubt. That's what attracted most of us to that. But to find folks like yourself and Alan and everybody else that's out there that you resonate with, and you start to communicate and talk with them and see the bigger picture, the purpose, as I like to call it, of where we're going long term, and that capital that we're going to make out of this environment is going to help even exasperate and grow that purpose even more into the future. So very exciting.
100%. I could not agree with you 100% more. I too came into this space seeking money, seeking profit, a leg up, just an emergency fund. Once my original thought was, hey, I can invest in this thing and it's going to grow. It's in my control. And if I need it for emergency, I got something right there. I got another alternative that I didn't have before. And that was my thought that got me here. So I too was chasing dollar bills like most of us. But what has come out of that is, as you were just giving reference to, is the great multiplier. It's this is not only giving us the one thing that we wanted initially, but it is creating a far bigger picture. And one byproduct is dollars, or the ability to attain resources. The other byproduct is resources to build with like-minded other individuals. And that is a beautiful, crazy thing. I get starstruck on that. That's where I get starstruck right now. Like, I can't believe I'm just doing this with people halfway across the country. This is amazing that I talk to different people from different states and we're doing things together versus 3 blocks down. I don't even know their name. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
it's a tremendous evolution that we're seeing, you know, and again, I'm even watching my kids go through that, you know. Initially, it's Lambos and all the possessions and things that don't much matter. I mean, they're going to be great if you can afford them, and that's what your thing is. But you know, it's that longer picture that I'm trying to present. Even and I see you do it on your channel as well. Just that, what's after that? Because money is just money. It's
That's right.
it's that longer purpose in building other businesses with folks like you, like Alan, that are purpose meant and actually going to, you know, change human society for the good, for the better. You know, that's what really is fun about the capital that's coming and the money that's going to come behind what we're seeing here in this crypto environment.
I know. There's as Alan would say, there's no downside. There really isn't.
Yeah.
There's no downside here. It's the only downside is how far do you want to go? Right? With whatever it is or the multiple things you're in. How far do you want to grow? It's up to you. There's no downside. And that's a wonderful perspective. As Alan always offers all of us, man, so many beautiful perspectives. You know, did he tell you anything about kind of his life's journey at all? You know, going from youth to young man. So I know everything. Give me my Lambo, and then, you know, to where he's at now. Has he shared any of that with you?
Not all of it, some of it, some
Some
of
of
it.
it,
He's
yeah,
taught. Yeah.
yeah. So isn't it? I find it very fascinating to what he's gone through and what he's just shared. Because of course, you know, I mean, he is a man of many books. I know he is many books. You can't do a 2-3 hour Sunday show every Sunday without not having many books within your history.
Sure.
But to have him be where he's at right now, and all of us being able to take something from that on a continuous basis. Sometimes it's just one topic and we stay on that and we just grow with that topic. But he knows, and we eventually figure out that one topic has many shoot offs from that, you know. And I'm grateful just to be here, man. I really am. I know I say just. It's like, honestly, that's the coolest thing about this. You don't know it till you get there. And like your kids, I know they're starting to see this bigger picture as you're referencing. Yeah. My kid, same thing in his own life. He's like, it's bigger. There's bigger things to do. It's like there is, but you have to figure out what bigger is to you, because my bigger is to me is something different. But the cool part is we're just here. We get to do it, you know, and that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I say it all the time. And, you know, a lot of people say this, but I actually mean it. And I've heard you mention, I mean, we are literally blessed to have this opportunity. I mean, this is a really once in a lifetime. I'd say this is my second opportunity because I was around for the crypto, you know, environment, or not crypto, but the internet boom. And, you know, kind of passed that up because I was young and my mindset wasn't ready for that. And I wasn't ready for it. So therefore that blessing wasn't meant for me at that time.
Right.
This is a second opportunity. And for many folks, a huge opportunity to really make some life-changing profits, you know, and hopefully generational wealth for those of us that, you know, invest wisely. It's all risk. So, you know,
it is. It's all risk, you know, and honestly, we're the only ones that can screw it up. we really are. We're the only ones that can screw it up, you know, and that's I think the beautiful part. Another beautiful part about that is when you realize that. You don't realize that at first, right? So you don't have the problem as everybody else. You know, I too missed the .com. I was young. I was barely 20 something. But one, I didn't have the means to get in, you know, liquidity, didn't have any liquidity, but I kept hearing it all around me. And I knew I wanted to get in, but there was not the on-ramps that we have, like we have today with crypto. Download app, download a wallet, watch a YouTube video. I mean, you're good to go. back in the late 90s, early 2000s. No, you had to know somebody that knew somebody, go to a fancy dinner, be the caddy for some golfer on a very fancy golf course or something like that, or the best bartender at the right restaurant on the right Friday night. All the variables that all got deleted with the technology that we have now and the use cases, man. So the future is going to be crazy.
The future is bright, my friend. 100% for everybody out there. I think you all know that, and that's why you show up here every Sunday and you resonate with what Alan. He has that broad macro picture, which I love. That's what attracted me to him, because there's a lot of folks out there, and this is not talking down to anyone or anything, but it's you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow, which is great. Many of us may be a millionaire in the future. I don't know about tomorrow, but that big macro view, the economic view, and then the translation again of what happens after that. That's what folks, it's so easy to get into this environment, like you were just alluding to it, Simon. I mean, couple clicks of the button and you got yourself a nice little bag of something, right? Whatever that is that you want to invest in. But that exit strategy, that is a whole different animal. 100%. And making sure that you're ready for that exit. And Alan says it all the time as well. Easy to buy, hard to sell. One, because it's the psychological environment of that aspect. You keep on thinking it's going to go up another $1 or $100 or whatever the case may be. And that greed gene starts to come in, and you get on that calculator and starts to kind of psychologically,
that's
messes you up. I mean, I've watched it. I've watched it ride all the way up, and I've watched it ride all the way down, and that is an absolutely horrible feeling. And that's why I'm just trying to educate folks. Like, let's look to the future. How are you actually going to exit? Which is one of Alan's themes here on Thursday nights, right? That exit is so strategic, and making sure that you have the right systems set up. And I heard you mention infinite banking. Yes. Those systems that I talk to many times is just one part of the puzzle, right? Doesn't mean everything's going in there, but a lot of it to secure that capital. But everyone has to find that system that, for themselves, because it's going to be different.
It is, I'm glad we're talking about the exit strategy because it is a a component that repeats itself. If you get in, you have to get out at some point, right? Get out is really relative. It's more like I went to the grocery store and then I got out of that and went to the gas station and then got out and went to my favorite street taco place. And then I eventually got back home, only thinking about what's for dinner. Right. Okay. So that's a 12-hour exit strategy. Right. We want to think about 12 years, 24 years, 48 years, even if we, and yes, 48 years, even if we're not going to be here, we should be thinking about 48 years. I'm 100% on that thought process, but I do have to say the calculator, I've noticed that when I start doing that, if I'm spending more time on my calculator than I am any other app on my phone, I need to take a break. I just need to take a break. That's so funny you mentioned that, because there's definitely some truth in that. Because we might start originally, like with mine, I start off with a real numbers, real problem. But then I go into imaginary land and I scale in my mind. Oh, what if? Oh, what if? Oh, right. What if we do this? What if we do that? What if? Right? That's kind of a that's a byproduct of me thinking down the road, and I've noticed that, well, that's not reality. So, okay, that's cool. That's neat to see that, but that's it. That's all it is. It's just numbers in a machine, numbers on a piece of paper. We're not at that piece of paper yet. We're still here. But I like your thought process. It's kind of like that. Recognize the value in the speculation, right? Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm looking ahead, but recognize the downside in that thought process, which is far, in my opinion, for me, it's definitely greater than, the value that's there.
Yeah,
But
that to that point, that's why Alan says, we have a lot of new folks. I don't know how many we have in the chat to get today, but there are still
44 watching. 44.
There's still a lot of new folks that are coming into this environment, and we are still way early as far as before I think real utility starts to take over. But yeah, Alan, what Alan was going to say, Alan says, have enough skin in the game so that you can take some profits. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I will take some profits as we enter this bull run full scale because I have my system in place and I want to make sure the capital is protected. But having enough skin in the game, a big enough bag, whatever that is for each individual person. We're not going to tell you how much of XRP to own or HBAR or whatever you are into, because it's different for everyone. And that 100%. Is I get that question so many times. It's like, I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor and we're not giving financial advice on this channel or any other channels, but having enough skin in the game to where you can take some profits, pay off some debt if you have debt, but having that long-term bag. So when all of this utility starts to come in and those prices do really start to scream upward, that's the life-changing event, in my opinion.
100%. Let's talk about, I want to talk about something you just kind of briefly touched on there. Taking profit, but having enough in your bag to realize, the future, or to be a part of the future in that regard. Okay. So how many of us in the chat have missed the boat on so many things? And we know that feeling, right? Yeah, definitely. Probably see if we had the hand emoji, it'd be blowing up in the chat, I'm sure. So if you're new to any type of having skin in the game, if you're new to the digital asset space, Zip here is identifying, a snake in the grass, so to speak, that, you might take profits, but maybe you sold your whole bag. That might not be good because later, there was another person in the chat that I just saw their comment. Evan Burke's referencing the .com. Wasted all my big money I made in those days. I did not understand the potential of investing, right? And that probably wasn't the getting in. Getting in's easy. Getting out has its own challenges, and it's not the pushing of the door. It's all the little moves that got you to the door. It's all the little moves that got you out of the parking lot, safe and sound with your groceries, your bags, and then into your trunk, AC's on, and then you still got to get out of the parking lot. If you think about all the steps it takes you to get to the grocery store, then the extra steps it takes you to get out of the grocery store, you're really going to see kind of what we're talking about here. And I love the grocery store, all grocery store examples, by the way, because you talked about paying off some debt. In my world, if I was going to take profit to pay off debt, like that was my step one, step two, that 1.5 step, be like, well, we're going to run that through my dividend paying whole life insurance policy first. And now we're going to take care of the debt, right? But I didn't have that before. So I'm adding to my exit strategy. I'm adding one more thing. And that's the growth. And that's what I really love about the crew, Alan's channel here. That's what I love about what I've experienced within the XRP Army community. Don't throw shade, people. That's what I've experienced at the levels of the Bitcoin community that I participate with. But most of the people I participate with, they're not all hardcore on one. But I appreciate the hardcore because you're staying in a lane that you understand and you're there. And I think that's great. I encourage all of you to expand, just expand a little bit, go into, even if it's not crypto, you want to be, hardcore XRP, go do it. Maybe go invest in a toilet paper company, totally separate to XRP, I totally encourage that, but yeah, man.
That is good. And what you say there, we get inside of our own echo chambers sometimes, and you don't really see that broad macro environment, especially in crypto. It's almost ridiculous because it's not one coin against another coin. You may have a perspective that BTC is the only thing you want to invest in. Phenomenal. I'm not against BTC. That's how I came into the game, right? the crypto environment, but we get so tied into these echo chambers that we're missing a lot of other important parts and pieces, because honestly in crypto it's going to be an interoperable world anyhow. If you think that one project or one coin is going to be the all end all be all, I don't believe that. And we're seeing that already. We're seeing that interoperability. We're seeing what's coming out from the DTCC and all these institutions. They are going to look across the board, and every project, every technology, I like to call it, we literally own the software stack that's going to be running the future financial environment, is going to take part in that. And, getting in these echo chambers is very dangerous. And that's one of the reasons I'll call myself a utility maxi, but
okay, that's way better than just staying in one lane. I mean, that's a broad spectrum there, right? Yeah.
But I like to stay diversified, but that comes from my education of being invested in the traditional TradFi markets as well. I didn't go all in on one project necessarily. I'm diversified across the board in the tech sector and the real estate market. So my perspective coming into this is much the same. And there's going to be large winners and there's going to be some losers, but it only takes one winner to really set yourself up huge for the future. But that's my perspectives, and that's how I handle things. But that's why it goes back to having enough skin in the game, because I did make this mistake early on. I was so diversified that I didn't have enough skin in the game. Right. So and I saw that the last bull run, had I focused on one project, built that bag up to whatever I thought was enough skin in the game, and then started to diversify, it would have made a more dramatic difference as far as profits I'm talking about now in my portfolio.
Right. So I experienced the same thing after my first bull run that I experienced back in 2017, 2018, because I was in 2016, and I got hooked on crypto real quick, real easy. Saw all types of value. So I just started buying everything I could and not, reading the label on the back, so to speak, the white paper, I'll take it. Yeah. Whatever you got. One of these fireworks is going to make a big explosion. Well, they did. But skin in the game, the volume of money that I had in that one project was, equal to the ratio of volume of money I had in that project. It exploded. My percentage portfolio, woo! The other side of that was, So but you bring up something that I think is applicable here that I'm very excited to see. You talked about traditional finance being diversified. Well played, absolutely. It really is a core principle to be diversified strategically. Not so much, interest is good, but strategically. If you're invested in traditional sense, old school methods, you invest in different industries, because if something happens to one industry, but it does not affect the other industries or immediately affect the other industries, there are some times for mitigation, right? Building up your walls. Zip, I know your location. You're in an area where you get the occasional hurricane or two that might fly by, right? But but technology has enabled you and others in that whole southern region. Oh, hurricane? How long we got? 3 days. Okay, what am I really out of? That. Let's go get that right now and order on Amazon just in case the store doesn't have it. We got it en route, right? But because of that heads up, you're able to mitigate risk, right? Same kind of principle in TradeFi. I'm curious to see how that happens in the interoperability. How in the future, because of those partnerships that came together, those projects that came together for mutual benefit, how is that going to elevate that in the future? Their value, use case, all of it. I'm very excited to see that part. Very, very, very excited to see that part.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, speaking of projects and stuff like that are working together, we're starting to see, even Cardano and Midnight this midnight side chain that they have going on, that interoperability and the overall environment of bringing all of these blockchains, BTC, Cardano, Solana, Avalanche is in there, you know, bringing all these ETH, all these communities together into one environment. And that's what we want to see. We want to see overall utility and new projects that are working together. That's going to continue to grow this crypto space and legitimize it as we start seeing all these institutions really start to flood into the environment. That's why it's so important. I know no one likes laws and regulations probably, but I keep telling everyone we really need the Clarity Act to get pushed through, because these laws and the regulations and the environment that we live in now, which is law bounded, that is the roadway, that is the map of how institutions are going to be able to utilize all of these various technologies.
Yeah. Just like with the Genius Act, there was a component in there that enabled businesses to start incorporating stablecoins into their business/balance sheets, right?
Right.
They wouldn't do that unless, you know, they got permission or at least some guidance to go, oh, we can use it like this. Okay, we'll get it. You know, question here from Atlantic Living, and I know Robert in the chat wanted us to please answer some questions, so I figured we could take a little time as we do this live to the best of our abilities, because we are no Alan Staple and B-Man, that's for sure. Maybe a close second. Atlantic Living wants to know, I view these points today. XRP Ledger ranks 41st in development activity. XRP Ledger ranks 48th locked in total value DeFi. XRP Ledger ranks last in network security. Are these points facts? You know what, Atlantic Living, could you give us a little bit more meat and potatoes on where you're pulling your data from for at least the ranks 41st developer activity? And of course, the 48th locked in total value DeFi. I already know that one, but I just want to highlight you in the chat. Just trying to build some more trust, transparency of, hey, if you don't feel like you can go to Zips Tips or Alan or B-Man or Simon, there's other people in this chat here that are good people. Atlantic Living is one of them, but go ahead.
Let's pull some of this apart a little bit.
Go ahead.
So, and again, I don't know where this information is coming from. Obviously, Atlantic Living is very smart. So
he's on it,
But I don't, again, I haven't read this, but let's just talk about DeFi as an example. So up to this point, we know that the XRPO hasn't had a large DeFi environment. Mm-hmm. A lot of that just because of the way and the vision of the XRPO and where it was going, didn't, you know, the smart contract capability and such that's needed within the DeFi environment. And that's the entrance, in my opinion, of what Flare is doing. And we're seeing Flare making a huge move. They're working with institutions. Vivo Power, as an example, we know is on board. We're seeing Flare pop up more and more on Binance, Uphold. But that DeFi environment within Flare, which they have been building slowly, which is to the frustration of many of us, but they're doing it, to allude to the last part, in a secure environment to make sure that everything is locked down. But that DeFi environment that's coming, as an example, we know here very, very shortly, you know, Flare, they're testing right now the version release that's going to be released to Flare on Songbird to be able to mint your XRP, to bring XRP as one example, because they're working on XRP, they're working with XLM, they have plans for BTC. Again, all of this universal DeFi environment that if you want to take, you know, advantage of it, you'll have that in Flare. I think that is, again, what you're looking for. You know, is it native to XRP based, you know, I'm going to his question here.
Right.
No, it's using another, you know, layer one Flare environment, but you're bringing that DeFi to allow XRP capability, you know.
100%. You know, I was listening to a space about a month ago, and this came up, this kind of topic in regards to, you know, XRP Ledger not doing much. total value locked, not there on the XRPL, right? And that's been true. And another developer brought out a great point. It's like they're speculating, but I think this was a great just perspective of, hey, maybe I should be looking at it like this. And I'm going to share that with you. And that is that maybe it's not good to be the first, second, or third one to the new technology dinner table, as laws and regulations are still being worked out. You know, when you think about development, I mean, me and you, if I want to build a shed on my back 40, if I had a back 40, but let's just say I do. If I wanted to build a shed on the back 40, I'd just go to Lowe's or Home Depot, get the wood, build it. Or go to the county, get permission, then build it, so I can at least realize the value of my land because I increased it because I have another structure. Okay. Big business, they make sure any business that wants to stay relevant. So any business or production is going to be looking towards the leadership, the rule makers, basically. Well, what are they saying? What are they doing? Hey, keep building it like this, but let's not get to a position to where we have to pull the plug on what maybe we allowed developers to do, and now we're going to take it away. I'll tell you what, in my emotional state, if that happened to me, I would consider that a rug pull. Right? I put on this time and effort. How come you guys didn't know? And that's what this developer was saying. It's like, hey, this is actually a good thing for the XRPL being, you know, one of the last to the dinner table, so to speak, in those regards, in regards to development, in regards to, you know, locked up value, because with development comes in locked up value. With tokenization, if you guys do any research on tokenizing or creating an NFT on the XRPL, there's a wallet and you have to fund that wallet, you know? So through that protocol, there is a component of locked up total value. So, I mean, you look at a network like Ethereum, and you guys could actually go to, if there's others, please shout them out either in the chat or Zip, please do as well. But you go to DeFi Llama, there's a lot of information there. Full transparency, a lot of information. But you can click on a chain to see what the total value is locked on that chain from the sources that DeFi Llama gets. Okay. And I do say sources. I don't know what they are, but that's a good point of reference. I'm bringing this up because if you look at the Ethereum blockchain, it has the most total value locked. And your next logical question would be, or at least one of the three, why? Why is there that much money over there? And then go back and look at the history and look what has been done from the Ethereum network. Ethereum layer 1, you got layer 2s. Now we're in web 3s. They really set the tone. And now let's drag that over to XRPL in the rears, X amount of years. Well, you know, it's getting there. You know, it's getting there. This is a reason, not the reason, a reason to say, hey, development, 41st in development activity. Well, a lot of developers probably were on Ethereum and Ethereum layer 2 protocols developing. Great example. We all know Quincy Jones, XDC network. It's a layer 2 on the Ethereum network, right? So they're committed to that. Their business is committed to that. Their project, their everything. They're all in. They might be able to deviate and go another way later, but we're not going to see that for, as Zip, you mentioned, you know, quite a bit of time. Now, Zip, you got an IT background. I mean, you know, maybe a smidgen about the development world. I mean, how hard is it to just pivot on demand from one language, one developing language to another? How hard is that?
Tremendous, because you've got data center architecture and server architecture behind the scenes, that it's not just a flip of the switch and, you know, being able to move all of that data and those protocols to some other language, or, you know, because again, security is the key. And that's why I mentioned Flare and why it's been taking so long. When you're dealing with millions, billions, trillions of dollars, you don't want that environment to be insecure. So they're not going to just move it willy-nilly and move things over. We never do that within the environment that I work in and day out. But when you look at Ethereum too, the reason that there's a lot of development there, also there's been a lot of scams there as well.
True, facts, 100%, right?
The security. So usually, and I'm not saying everything within Ethereum, so don't take this and snip it and throw it out there somewhere.
Simon and Zip said this. Yeah.
No, but there's a lot of malicious intent that flows to environments that allow total value lock to be rug pulls and stuff like that. And we have seen that within Ethereum for sure. And again, it's the business use case, XRPL, predominantly the focal point for that has been Ripple and business to business, institution to institution development, utilizing it to move money around the world, cross border, and we're seeing that flip now with the stablecoin development with RLUSD and that volume kicking up. But you made a mention of tokenization. That's the real total value we want to see locked within these networks.
Yes.
And that's what's coming. And if you're watching, you can go out to, RWA.xyz and you can see the volumes starting to kick up within all of these environments, Stellar, XRP, but that's the total value that we want to start to see because that's the utility. The DeFi environment is going to give us phenomenal capabilities to earn some additional profit, and the institutions are absolutely going to swallow that up and utilize it, probably manipulate it in some way, I'm sure. But largely we want to see real world utility because as that tokenization starts to arise, RWA on XRP right now is at 305 million. A month ago, it was like at $110 million. So we're seeing these large, it's up 22% over the last 30 days. But we're starting to see these institutions as they're onboarding, bring all that tokenization, which is value locked to the network. And that's what we want to see.
Yeah, I'm glad you're talking about that. Could you give us the website real quick? I want to share that with the rest of the people watching this show here, or you can just share it. You know what you're doing. Sorry, I go into co-host mode so often. Here, I don't
think. See if it'll let me share from here.
Okay. It was RWA.xyz.
Yeah, you should see it now.
Okay. I'm gonna add it to. Here we go. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, folks, there you go. Looks like we're at. Okay, yeah, I like that.
So this is specifically XRP ledger, but you can go down in here. You can drill down on the actual assets. Obviously, we had a lot of treasury bills that are tokenized, but you can go right through here and see exactly what is tokenized on any of these chains, from this site. Oddly enough, RWA still hasn't introduced Hedera HBAR, which, I hear they're working on that. But yeah, you can come in here and, one of the big jumps that we saw previously, and for those of you that are not out on X, you probably saw, there's some posts going around where there's $1 billion now TVL through Vert Capital, but that was they didn't do the Brazilian real conversion to US. Wasn't done correctly, so it looked like it was more than what it was. But Vert Capital, you go through here and see Ondo and Archax and all the players that are utilizing the XRPL within for tokenization, but they have them all on here if folks are interested. Speaking of Ethereum, and there's Ethereum right there running at the number one.
Look at 7.5 billion. And then, and next in line is arguably a third of that. That just kind of proves to kind of the point that we're just trying to make, some reasonings, not the reasons, but some, right? And Zip, thanks for sharing this, man. Your following is getting some gems from you on the daily. I'm sure. I'm definitely sure. I would definitely be adding this in my tool bag so I can check this out because the landscape has changed. When tokenization, when RWAs. Well, here it is. Now we have another tool that we can look at as opposed to a trading chart.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
yeah. But the calculator could still be a problem, though, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. That sounds good.
Absolutely.
This
But yeah,
is great.
this site here is a wealth of information. I mean, it shows your stablecoin development and what's going on within that environment. You can drill down to RLUSD if you're interested in it. Again, and this is just a tool, as Simon just said, in your evaluation as you're wondering where things are going, because any project that you're invested in, you want to see that growth, to me. And as you're starting to see the tokenization take on board, RLUSD being used more and more out there. I mean, obviously, my opinion, I don't think it's ever going to overtake USDT, only because of time in market. USDT has been around forever. Whether you think it's a Ponzi scheme or whatever, that's a different conversation, but you're not going to overtake. They have had so much time in this market. And that's the same thing with Ethereum now. Remember, Ethereum had a lot of early backing, I'm using my words cautiously, to where it was being promoted and utilized. And Ripple's been in a lawsuit for many, many years, which now, thank goodness, it's done. If you didn't get if you didn't see that out there, folks, it's finally been signed off by the courts and done, gone.
Yep.
Even though it wasn't a large issue to you and I, from an institutional perspective, they don't want any black marks out there. They want to make sure that there is complete regulatory clarity out there before they're going to start to jump in fully. And I think it's going to start to get exciting within this environment. And who knows, maybe we'll see some NDAs released, some big banks coming out that are utilizing and have been utilizing XRP in the background along with Ripple for a while.
You know, here's you're talking about big banks, big institutions. Robert Russell's question: with the release of Genesis XRP Mastercard tomorrow and receiving 4% XRP rewards, do you believe this will have a big impact on XRP appreciation? Robert, I'm going to go a step further there. I'm assuming you're talking about price appreciation, not utility appreciation. I would say utility. Those two, I would say Genesis and Mastercard. They both see value in XRP. Zip, your thoughts on that, and then I'll tackle it a little bit as well, and then I'll get rid of the screen here.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a price increase, but what it is doing is it's free promotion. 100%. It's free marketing, which again is getting XRP out among the masses. I mean, when they have, I saw this was put, that it was advertised right in New York City, in the financial market sector there. Again, it's free advertising. So from that perspective, remember, we are way early still. I mean, we eat and breathe this stuff every day. The folks in the chat eat and breathe it every day. We talked about those echo chambers. The rest of the world, they don't know the information that you and I know. And so from that perspective, absolutely good. And remember also with Ripple, the RLUSD, that Ripple is acting like a bank and providing RLUSD to Gemini for their IPO environment. Right. So again, remember that interoperability and that connectivity, all of these things are coming together and we're seeing them in real time.
Yeah, and it does get exciting. To the price appreciation, I would be, if there was a way for us to, Robert, I'm speaking to you and anybody else directly on that. If there was a way to where we could see the transactions, which I know there's a way, but knowing that these transactions happened with MasterCard, with the Genesis card, right? If they were doing dollar POS, point of sales swipes, which I'm going to assume they got MasterCard, and then they're using the XRPL to send the funds one way or to the other, right? It's within those transactions where XRP is being used. No different than if we use XRP right now. And I want us to focus in on that. As the number of transactions on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly spreadsheet increase over time in that type of environment, meaning a swipe card, chip card, etc., right? Something we can use at the pump, Costco, etc. in my opinion, that's when we will see that scenario affect directly price appreciation, because we're using it all the time, or somebody is using it all the time, which means they have to go get more at some point. They might have been built. I mean, all of us had a great chance that we're able to and aware of XRP and other cryptocurrencies and other digital assets. We had a huge window to get our XRP and others at rock bottom prices. Well, so did they. And Zip, you mentioned big institutions possibly coming out and say, yeah, we've been in XRP for 5-6 years now. Those types of revelations, right? Well, if they even announce that, then take that information and go, okay, so you accumulated this whole time, which means you have a reserve, which means you're probably not going to go buy some right away. Might be another 4 years to get some more in some type of capacity. But that's a great question, Robert. Great question. I wish it did immediately. That'd be great. Like a signing bonus. Oh, you want to use the XRPL? Oh, it's $100 million to join, but we'll let you in. And it gets converted to XR. Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, you gotta think the financial system. And this is what I kind of bring the macro to my audience when we're talking. I know Alan does. They're not changed. It's not like tomorrow they're going to go, hey, we're going to all use XRP, or we're going to use XLM for this project or whatever. This has been thought out for a very, very long time. When you're changing the financial system, even the ISO 222 implementation, which is going to happen, it's going fully global in November, but utilization of that environment's not until into 2026, because it doesn't happen like that. It takes time to change the current financial infrastructure and bring it and modernize that environment utilizing these technologies. And again, it's not just going to be one. There's going to be many technologies that are going to be used, within this environment. And that's why, I like XLM, I like HBAR, I like XDC, SHX. I keep on mentioning that one.
Stronghold.
Not financial advice, but that one is, if you look at it, and it's got Ripple ties as well with Sean Bennett there and Tammy. How they are implementing that environment, eerily enough, they have a reserve set up now, just like Ripple does, an escrow environment. But they're going to be another one of those large players that are going to come out of nowhere. And you mentioned being able to get it pennies on the dollar. Now's the time. That's why everyone's got to do their own research and really look at the white papers. But when you get it at 3 cents before it goes to 20 cents, 25 cents, or where we are with XRP now at $3. I mean, you think about it, Simon, it's only been 8 months, 9 months. We're almost up to a year to where XRP was what? 35 cents, 40 cents.
Yep.
So things are moving very, very rapidly. And that's why getting enough skin in the game early is really going to make more sense than getting in late, because the institutions have trillions of dollars. We don't.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the ratio. And I love talking about this with some of my clients, and of course anybody else that I get a phone call in the crypto space. I'm totally willing to help. But that is this. It's the ratio to where what Zip's referencing. If something is pennies for us, the haves, if you will, if you really wanted to put a label on them, right? The haves more than you and me. That's they won't play there. That's too small for them to play. Okay, so for us, we might spend $1,000, and for a great deal of people out there, I know that is a good deal of money, where you're going to be you're going to pay very close attention. You're going to want to know who the players are, what project this is, who the partnerships is. You're doing what the haves do and have done for a quite long time. They do their research. So Zip, in your opinion, at what dollar or price point would you compare, say, XRP to Stronghold, where to where institutions are now starting to arguably dip their toe into XRP with their funds for their strategy, to not make the price go up because they have big money, right? Same thing with us. What would be like a good ratio there, comparing the two, in your opinion?
As far as when to get into the environment?
Well, no, to highlight the topic of, okay, if I spend $1,000 on Stronghold right now, am I going to move the meter, the price, right?
Right.
Right, whether that's on open market, so the retail market, or if that's behind closed doors. At some point, if I throw a big rock in a small pool, I'm going to make a splash. I need to be cognizant of how big the splash is, because that splash is price. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I spend $1,000, that's a lot of money to me. But to maybe a millionaire or a multimillionaire, $100,000 is a lot of money to them. So both of us have the same mindset right now. Ooh, that's a lot of money. We need to think about this. My mindset has changed, right? Even though I have 2 zeros less than they do on the amount of the volume of money that's going in. So in regards to bringing that thought around, what price do you think where we would see more institutions coming in just on that alone with XRP? And would that be would that be the same situation over on Stronghold, in your opinion?
Yes, I do. I think it's a ratio-based decision all the time, right? Now, the institutions right now, they're paying attention to all of this, and they know which players are going to support the technologies. As part of that conversation, it's hard to kind of answer, I guess, Simon, because each one of these projects have different philosophical reasons and what they're concentrating on, right? So Stronghold, as an example, is more small business to business, ACH transfers, technology, right? So larger institutions that are looking for cross-border movement, management of their funds, they're going to go to the Ripple and stuff like that, Ripple technology or Ripple environment versus Stronghold. But from a medium perspective, as far as that analysis and that ratio, I mean, I don't think it's a how big the project is. I think it's the technology stack behind that project. And if the institutions, if the businesses think that they can take profit on that and it's going to make them more efficient, because remember, that's what this technology is really doing on the back end. It's saving companies. It's saving us. It will save us thousands and thousands, for them millions and millions of dollars, because of that ratio difference within the environment. Their trillions compared to our thousands.
Right. And to that, but our participation percentage is the same. They do 10%, I do 10%, right? Those principles, that I know that you talk about on your channel, that I've talked about on my channel, right? It gets down to percentages.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, and I've stated this on the channel many times. We go to a job for 40 plus years, and we scrape along, and we've been taught traditionally within the educational system, or lack thereof, to put 5% away, put 10% away, put 20% away to reach that golden era of retirement at 60, 65. Now they're going to raise it again to 70. That carrot just keeps getting out there further and further. But individuals have to look at what stake they need to put in from their own perspective to have money in the future. And it's the same thing in this environment. Instead of going out to Starbucks, you hear it's the cliche, take a little bit of that risk off. If you're putting 20% in to the market for 40 years and you don't even have access to that money, that's the thing with the traditional system. You're putting it away, and they're taking all of those dollars and they're utilizing it to make more money off of your money that you can't get to until your age 59 and a half, or whatever that number is, and then you're taxed on it anyhow. So that capital there, but you have to look at it from your own perspective and think, okay, it's budgeting 101, quite honestly, but it's management investment 101. How much money can I really put into this environment at a risk? Obviously, we're talking about crypto, and quite honestly, even the traditional markets. I don't know how many folks are in here who went through 2008 and 2012 and all these significant drops in the traditional market where we expected we were good to go and we lost hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a couple of days. So it's funny to me when folks kind of say it's a risky environment. It is, but all of these investment environments are risk when you think about it, in my opinion. But that ratio to what you're saying is really independent. That's why when you're talking to clients and folks that I talk to, that's the one-on-one conversation. How much money are you willing to put away in order to have a brighter future? That's the ratio. But getting in, going back to the stronghold, when it's at 3 cents, if you find that opportunity and you put $100 in at 3 cents compared to $3 where XRP is now, that skin in the game, the amount of bag that you have is going to be tremendously more profitable long term.
Yeah, 100%. Example in percentages. If I allocated, say, a 0.25%, so a quarter of a percent of my portfolio, meaning the total amount of funds that I'm willing to invest into digital assets, but I only took a quarter percent of that total portfolio. Total portfolio. I said I'm buying that much stronghold. And then years later, time passes, right? I had some diamond hands, let's just say 5 years. Well, that quarter of a percent at the time of entry has now grown to maybe 3, 5, maybe even 10% of the total value of my portfolio. Meaning my portfolio went from, let's just say, 10,000 to 100,000 for simple math. Okay. Well, when I got in, it was a quarter percent of 10,000, but my portfolio is 100,000. But my stronghold value counts for 10% of 100,000. That's 10 grand. That's what Zip's talking about here, right? That's what he's talking about. And I totally default and say, how much money do you want to contribute? That's wrong. Hey, out of all the money you're going to put together, right? Out of all of that, what percentage or do you want to go this way? Think of a percentage. How many slices of pie are you going to give in exchange for a stronghold, Bitcoin, HBAR, any other ISO 222 coin that you might be into, or whatever your fancy is, really. The thing that you have learned and that you keep getting confidence about, you keep seeing, it's just another proof of validation for you. And even then you go back and research your own validation. But that's really the thing that Zip's trying to drive home here is that ratio. How much of your portfolio, the amount of money that you want to invest to go to stronghold or any other, right? And later, that could be a huge part of your portfolio because you spent this much and now you got this much.
Well, I think many people are seeing that, right? That's why I'm not against Bitcoin, but I knew from a return on value perspective, the small amount that I put into XRP as an example as to what I was able to put into Bitcoin.
100%. Sure.
Conversely, my percentage and my ratio in XRP is well more significant than Bitcoin, only because I missed the early entry to Bitcoin because I was dumb. I was around with Bitcoin back in 2011 and had the capability to set up some miners and stuff. But again, it's all timing. And like what we talked to when we opened up this, when you're ready, you're ready. The light bulb goes off. You see it. You're introduced to anything within life when you're meant to meet that opportunity, honestly. And that's why it's an evolution. You just got to continue to educate yourself. YouTube University, as I call it, is a phenomenal tool, but it's not the end all be all because Simon doesn't know everything. I don't know everything. Alan doesn't know everything. You have to go out and you got to get that conviction yourself. Yeah. You can listen to us day in and day out, and we're going to try to bring you all the best content we can, but I can't give you the conviction and the complete understanding of everything, all the knowledge, all the things that I've learned across getting bumps and bruises over my life into a 15-minute video, 20-minute video, or whatever the case may be. Only only you ladies and gentlemen out there can do that. That's the deal.
But that's a great point to highlight as well. I mean, you're out here, I'm out here, Alan's out here, B-Man's out here. There's a whole slew of us that are out here, and those in this chat, one day they're going to be out here, at the helm doing what we do in some type of capacity. And you're right. We don't know everything. I watch multiple channels on YouTube. And some of them I'm not subscribed to, which is kind of poo-poo. I shouldn't do that. But I do that for other reasons, and I'm not going to get into that. My point is I will go listen to get just another perspective on a topic that I'm either on or have been on, right? It's just good to get a fresh set of eyes on the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Have somebody else look at it. Like everybody, look, in the real world, you and I know that everybody's eyesight, it's not the same. We got different prescriptions for glasses, bifocals, all this mess, right? The same rules apply to everything in our lives.
Yeah.
So definitely
so
go out there. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. I see Hoopty made a comment out there. He's gone from 25 or more content creators to listening to 5 creators. And that philosophy is the same thing when I was talking about being over diversified.
Yeah.
Right. You can have so many different folks that you're listening to and that's the thing. You got to put things into action as well. Action is the key. You can listen all day, but if you're not actually taking it into action and making the changes within your lives, it's not going to matter. But yeah, diluting all that information that's coming in and finding the ones that are centralized makes a lot of sense to me. And I've done the same thing. I went from a large amount of folks that I was listening to. And as you pointed out, Simon, you're going across this walk in life. So then you start to research for more information. You may add a subscription or just go out and listen to something because there's a nugget that you needed to put the puzzle together.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So nothing wrong with that, but absolutely. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, we probably should talk about security because these scammers, man, I don't know if you've seen it on your channel or what's going on out there, but I keep on mentioning, folks, please have your stuff locked down. I think we should. I don't think we do enough justice to making sure that your perimeter of security is locked down. And I'm trying to get that information out because the worst thing in the world is for us to get so close to the end of this journey, whatever your finish line may be, because we were talking about exits and stuff like that, and then lose everything because of one mistake. So just please make sure you're not clicking on any links. Make sure you have 2FA set up. Make sure make sure your phone is locked down. Your SIM is locked down so you can't get SIM swapped. These are just easy ways to lock down your perimeter and make sure that, you're not easily accessed, from a scammer and you lose absolutely everything.
Right. Take care, Leanne. No, security is a good topic to cover. So tell us how you do all your security. Just kidding.
I mean, it's open, it's clear. I mean, the first thing you're starting, the first thing you start with, I mean, I don't personally, I know you're just kidding, but this is serious though. I don't personally leave anything on exchanges. I mean, I leave a little bit here and there because of what I'm doing in my environment. And I want to be able to get out and maybe execute some trades, but I would legitimately not leave large amounts on exchanges. I prefer to have it in my own cold wallet environment or even a hot wallet if you're talking about some of the DeFi space and stuff like that, just to make it easier so you can, get in and out of those environments and make the trades. But, that's step one. And I didn't realize, I guess sometimes, and maybe you've run across this, Simon, because you have all this knowledge, you kind of start to assume that it's just common sense. Just don't keep things on the exchanges. And I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and it was as simple as they literally did not realize that they could move things off of an exchange. And I'm kind of speaking to new folks. They thought, because if you think about the traditional environment in our brokerage accounts where we buy and we sell things in that brokerage account, we can't move things in and out of that brokerage account. Well, they assumed that the digital asset world was the same. So when they bought on Binance or Kraken, Uphold, those assets were locked into that environment, and they couldn't just open up or get a hardware wallet and move it off and secure it in their own possession. But it's just, I find sometimes assumptions are bad, and you just assume that folks understand that. But if you're brand new to this environment, yeah, absolutely. One of the first things you do is, to me, get things off the exchanges and lock them down on a cold wallet like Ledger, Decent, Treasure, whatever one is yours, your favorite. I have a few different ones that I like. But the bigger things that folks don't think about, Simon, is really the 2FA, that authentication that's being sent between you and your exchanges, or even your banks. If you don't have 2FA established, even in your traditional bank accounts, you have to have that two-factor authentication established, preferably with an authentication device. Because when they're sending these SMS texts back and forth with a little 6-digit code.
Yeah, here's your number. Yeah, it's like they can intercept that. Somebody
very,
can.
very, very, very easily.
Yeah.
And that's where, just locking down that perimeter and just educating folks what that means is huge in this environment, in my opinion.
Melissa and I were talking along the lines of security, not directly, more dipping our toes around it, if you will. Come check us out, Dip Toe Show Wednesday nights if you're bored. It's a great show over there. But we were talking about understanding the systems that we're in. Okay, it's like a thing. It's like, again, I'm doing this. I have a lot of knowledge. It's easy to go just on autopilot and just know, but just because you know doesn't mean you do or take action on, and we all slip. I've done it multiple times. And so one of the things we were talking about was if you're getting into this digital asset space, and one of these projects is resonating with you, okay, now most of us probably have already bought into the project at this point. We've already done that, right? I would say maybe hold off on that now in my journey. I would say, well, you want to get in? Yeah. Okay. Do a little bit more. Understand how their system just works. Like, hey, if I turn the light switch on, the lights come on. Well, what else is happening there? Well, that means all that's got electricity going through it, right? Yeah. Does it have it all the time? Oh, good question. That's what we're talking about. Understand just the system. A system crash. Well, why did the system crash? Why did this network go down? Well, it's a layer 2 and it's on the Ethereum network, and the Ethereum network might have had an outage here and here. Again, understanding that, just that system. And we're all used to systems. If anybody drives anywhere, or if anybody rides a bus, a boat, or you fly planes, or you're part of the crew on the plane, systems. It's this is no different. So I encourage you all to just start understanding the system of, well, how does it work? And because the more, it really does mean, the more you know about a system, you can create your perimeter, and you're going to know why you did certain things in your perimeter, because you've learned how the system works. What Zip was talking about earlier, leaving your coins on the exchange. Okay, I get it. That's an old default. Where's my money? It's in the bank. Is that a safe place? Maybe. I mean, if I'm doing a Costco run, it is. Maybe not even then. I might get there and card doesn't work. What? But those are things. There's a gentleman that I know who's listening right now, where their cryptocurrencies rather the access to them was looking like it was being removed because of announcements. So as a knee-jerk reaction, they went to go mitigate the risk. But they were, in that heightened state, emotional. And this is a seasoned individual, and I had a weekend, but everything really got straightened out over the course of a weekend and then through the next week. But it was still, they were on an exchange. And then out of that frantic trying to mitigate the risk, which all of us are going to be there at some point, they had another exchange ready to go. But there was a lot of errors there as well because it'd been dormant for a while. That account had been dormant. So information was lost or not used in a while. Well, here's what happens. And I'm bringing this back around to knowing the system. The exchange, because things like example, password. Password's a great one. What's my password? Most of us forget. We didn't write it down, right? How many times have you done that? New email. So you change your email, or you forgot your email. You changed your password. You've logged in 4 or 5 times because maybe you were having technical issues, but all they see on their end is attempt. Now they feel like their whole system is a threat, so they're going to lock you out. And now you're stuck. You don't have a safe place. What you thought was a safe place to send them there in your emergency plan, well, that's gone right now. And your cryptos might be gone over here as well. The threat is still real for you. So now that's amplified a situation. So just know the system. I know it's boring. I know it's hard even to read like the paperwork, for even a wallet, getting a wallet, reading the reviews. Go to YouTube University or any other platform that you feel comfortable with. Search it. See, if there's Google reviews, hey, out of, it's got 4.5 stars out of how many? 3 people. No. Scroll down. No. Here's 3.5 stars with 1,000 views. Okay, let's see what's wrong. And let's see what's good. And does that fit my habits? Right. But I know I'm going down
it makes sense. It's the education again. You got to take the time, and you have to educate yourself because you want to know how these wallets, how this environment, everything works inside and out to prevent what you just spoke to becoming emotional. Because when you become emotional, that's when mistakes are made. And I love what Elizabeth said a couple of weeks ago here on this channel, but have an accountability partner. Pick up the phone and call Simon, call me, call Alan, call someone and go, hey, I'm getting ready to do this because I had X, Y, and Z. We're going to be non-emotional to it because it's not our event going on. And we're probably going to have a cleaner mindset to go, okay, just stop. Don't do what you're getting ready to do. Let's walk this through and make sure we understand the system, the environment, and what's going on to make sure that you don't lose, your vital assets that you've accumulated over the course of the last years or months or whatever the case may be.
Life savings. Had a call with someone that had, it's common actually. I don't like saying that, but it's common for people to go all in on something because they see, as we talked about earlier, volume of money, wait 4 or 5 years, and now their small money that they had for retirement, right, just got blown up. But now because of the greed factor, which we all experience as well, kind of kicked in, saw an opportunity. And I'm not saying this person is a greedy person by nature. It was an opportunity and they went for it. But not understanding the whole system. Scammer doing phishing, fish on, and mistakes of course were made. Because again, being in that emotional state, not paying attention to the barely recognizable red flag. You probably wouldn't have seen it. Most of us, even I know there's been someone else, Becky herself in this. I've been on the phone call with her during that situation, and I saw how these scammers got her. And from my perspective, I was like, wow, they did a really good job. I'm just saying they know what they're doing. They're very good at it.
They are professionals at their trade,
craft.
man. They know exactly how to work on the emotions, how to pull the strings. I mean,
100%.
they are trained in that environment. That's why they're so good at what they do in a bad way. But you just have to be really non-emotional and just disconnect yourself and that's why if you lock things down initially and you understand the system to what Simon was speaking to, you have a lot more, you're a lot more comfortable, and you kind of can start to see these ploys and what they're doing in the environment. Phone a friend network, absolutely.
yeah, I like that. I like that. Robert, be well, brother. You're a good man. I know Leanne had to go too. I know there's some other here we go. Robert said this: need to avoid content creators who have no substance or nothing more than clickbait. Absolutely. I am totally guilty of clickbaiting. I'm like, let me see this. That's my personal BS meter, but my BS meter will get me into trouble. See, that's the other side of that. And like, I don't believe you. Click. Ah, dang it. You know, I'm not very good at poker. Don't tell Elizabeth, please. She has access to the live. So I guess it's getting out of there. Well, I guess I'm not playing poker in January. Dang it. There was Atlantic Living made this statement as well there. Zip, unfortunately, many cold wallets don't allow an easy transition as they have restrictions of coins or restrictions of a coin and has to be under certain chain. Absolutely. There's, again, know the system. Yeah.
So that is true, but remember, you can use most of these cold wallets to authenticate in environments like a hot wallet, as an example, whether it be Bifrost, or any of the other hot wallets. You can still utilize that cold wallet to authenticate into that environment that is where your crypto may be. I mean, if it's an early coin, yeah, it's not going to be supported on some of these cold wallet environments, but there's generally workarounds to still utilize it as an authentication device where you need that cold wallet in place to authenticate the transactions, to move stuff that I can't think of anything that I am invested in necessarily that I don't have authenticated from one of my cold wallets.
Right. You know, cold wallets are honestly is another thing.
Hardware devices, I should have said. Hardware devices, not cold wallets.
Yeah. Technically, it is a piece of hardware, right? It's created by a company, and I say this all the time on the Dip-Toe show, or at least I mention it. Shouldn't say I say it all the time, but when we talk about hardware wallets, it's like, people, please understand that a company made that. They incorporated the technology, the blockchain, right, or ledger network, etc. They got it onto that device. They made their own code around that, but they're still a company. And companies, and I'm not trying to scare. Okay, I'm really not. I'm really trying to share because I literally care, because this was one of my realizations of, oh, hey, I should be paying attention to this, and I'm not. And that is this. It's a company that makes that. So be watching that company.
Yeah.
Because if that company has an issue in their data somewhere, your device may or may not work, okay, in that time where you wanted it to or needed it to. Okay. I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility. So, you know, just something else to add into your, I know your backpack of research. I know it's getting heavy, but just something else to be cognizant of, aware of, like, oh yeah, what's this company, you know? So
no one said ever becoming a millionaire was going to be easy. So there's a lot of baggage that comes along with it, right?
Crypto's not for sissies, man.
Future millionaires, I'm sure, in the chat. But yeah, to your point, going back again to that perimeter and how you're setting things up, even within my, and this is personal, but even within my cold wallet environment, I don't keep everything on one cold wallet. That's why I have multiple devices and I set up multiple addresses, because I don't want all of my crypto to be in one address. Because you got to remember, the blockchain is wide open too. So I can see everything that you have. I can go out to the Explorer and I can see where things are moving to and in and out of. That's why the final resting place generally for me is I don't connect that device. I don't connect that address to any exchanges. or anything like that. Again, just to put another layer of defense in there. I kind of have a wallet address or whatever that I may use that connects to the exchanges. And that's the only one I use for that, to move stuff in and out.
Yep.
Again, is it required? Is it needed? I don't know. It's just my methodical security brain. I want to put as many layers of defense in the environment as possible to avoid any issues. So multiple addresses, multiple wallets, that's the key. But yeah, I mean, security is a hard thing. Unfortunately, it's the most important thing, and that's the thing that we generally fail with the most, at least from what I've seen. And that's what'll get you in big trouble. So just be prudent. None of this is fear mongering or anything like that out there. Just Simon cares, I care, Alan cares. We want you all to be safe, and we want to get to the end of the journey, as I like to say, that finish line. So someday we're hanging out on the beaches and building more businesses in the future, and just, resonating with each other and thinking back to all these conversations that we had years and years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Security. And so I would say that security, as you pointed out, big topic, something we totally need to be vigilant on, but it's tough because most of us, in my opinion, at least where I come from, security was not a topic of discussion. And that's I think that's a conditioning of our environment, at least my environment that I was in. And I'm not, it wasn't, when I say security, it was like, here's all the security that I got when I was raised. The bank is safe. Okay, we're done. Great conversation. Everything else about life, there is long conversations and long strategies, but the bank is safe, right? Okay, because where else are you going to put your money that you don't have it so no one can take it from you directly? That part was left out, right? Well, now we are, in my opinion, and this is not a plug, but you can go get the book if you want. We're literally becoming our own bankers, and part of becoming our own banker is security. Mind on your money, money on your mind. That is a true statement. I know multiple successful multimillionaires, billionaires. They hire people to stay on top of the money, but they handpick those people to manage and stay on top of the money. And that's not just where it's going, it's how it's getting there, who's in charge, what the security protocols, all that. They have a team. We don't have that right now. We have our community, right? We have our community here, but it's just us in the driver's seat. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Frankie's got a good question out here. Frankie Sanchez. So he says, Simon, don't you still have your keys to be able to move your crypto even if a hardware wallet company goes away? So the answer to that is yes. So let's just talk ledger. So let's just say you have 24 keyword phrases. I would make that 25. There's a capability out there to make it 25. So you have a secret phrase out there. Nice. Again, remember, layers of defense. I'm going to make it as hard as possible. But yes, you would be able to take those 24 keys, and as long as you went to a BIP39 wallet, as an example, that was set up, layman's terms, as long as it's 24 keys to 24 keys, you could take those keys and put them into any other wallet. You do that. The hardware device is just a universal interface. It's a UI, just so you can interact with the crypto that you have. You can absolutely take those key phrases and you can load them in any other wallet. I've done it many times, and that's why it's important not to give your phrases out, or make sure your phrases don't get out into the public, because a scammer or anybody else can literally take those phrases. I can import them into any other wallet, and I instantaneously have access to your keys, to your holdings, and I can then move them to my own wallet that I have keys to. So good question, Frankie.
I want to talk about something else on security. Okay. And this is a play that I give my clients, which you don't have to be a client of mine because everybody should know this, but I don't talk about it because people get lost easy, and I don't want to lose you. Okay. But for those seasoned individuals, okay, here's something that you may have not have thought of that you can do if you want to check the balance of a certain wallet. If you have the address of that wallet, if you just have the address, you can, if you have it written down somewhere, which I personally recommend, keeps it programmed in my mind, something I do. All you have to do is type in the address or copy and paste the address into that like XRP scanner, Ethereum scanner, Bitcoin scanner, Litecoin scanner, any of the scanners, and it's going to bring you up the balance within that wallet. This is an easy play. Now, why would I do this? Well, because I'm not allowing my device an internet connection. I'm not activating the app, right? Showing a record of history that, oh, hey, this guy keeps checking the Exodus wallet. Well, maybe let's go after him, right? Again, I'm trying to mitigate some type of risk that I may be doing. So I was like, well, why do that? I can do it. Yeah.
Perimeters of defense.
Yeah, perimeters of defense, right? So this actually goes back to, this actually goes to old school technology back in the crypto space where we have paper wallets. Paper wallets used to be a thing where you could only send to.
Yeah.
Right. Now, there was a way to get it out because you also had the keys. You get the keys. Again, that process that you just explained, you could totally do that. But if you just go check the blockchain and you got your wallet address for that specific chain, you can see what's in there. I recommend this if you feel like you've been compromised in any type of way and maybe your level of trust on that hardware wallet, etc. I totally recommend, in my personal opinion, friend to friend, Cryptopian to Cryptopian, to go and do that because you're just checking out a website and entering in some information. So it helps mitigate that risk.
Absolutely. That's what I was alluding to earlier without going that deep. Because again, I try not to go too deep.
I know.
What Simon's saying is those explorers out there. That's why I said, you see a lot of content out there, and the content providers will have an address on their channel. You can go to that address and you can look up exactly what has been going to that address, where it's been moving from, and everything else. But those explorers is a good way if you know your address. All that address is really just your, just think of it as your bank account number. It's your account number, but in the digital environment. It's how people can send you money and how you send money in and out. But that's why it's important not to give away too much information to folks 100%. And keep that stuff kind of close to the chest, especially if you're talking about where you keep your largest bag, if you would, of assets. That's why I kind of have public addresses that I use for exchanges and stuff like that, and that I'll give out to folks. And then I have my most intimate or private addresses that I'm the only one that knows about them. So
yes, but and that's great. I've taught that play too, having a pass-through wallet, right? Pass-through, multiple pass-through wallet, because you can always delete it. Well, delete it, create a new wallet. You got the same app, create a new wallet, create a new wallet, create a new wallet. Voila.
That's what a lot of folks don't understand either. They think once they get their their decent wallet or whatever, that's it. But literally you just reset that bad boy and you can create a whole new wallet. And that's how I have multiple wallets, actually, because I just have different passphrases and pins to get into those environments. But that's the technical education we were talking about a while ago that you just got to get to. That's a little bit more of an advanced stage, but it's very easy. Hoofty's had some good comments out there. The electronic device, electronic devices, and then I saw you put the metal tags as far as putting your 24 words engraved on those, because I'm assuming, Hoofty, those are fireproof as well, because I've heard many stories to where folks had they did the right job. They had their stuff written down on paper, and then there was a fire or something catastrophic that happened, and they lost all of their phrases. That's why you really got to think this through and have multiple environments, layers of security. Have your passphrases in one environment, then maybe have a relative's house or someone that you trust, a safety deposit box, whatever the case is. But to Hoofty's point, I wouldn't. I'm paranoid, and I don't put anything electronically down when it comes to passphrases. I keep it all manual and either stamping it or writing it down on a piece of paper.
A number 2 pencil and a yellow piece of paper, or if you happen to, or right now is a good time to go out and get those materials, by the way. School's about to be in session. If not, it's already in session for most. So it's half price discount on an old school system that we can still leverage to our benefit. go get it. But onto those horrible situations. I've heard of that. I personally haven't been on a call with that particular variable, the metal melting, in a fire, or the paper melting. So again, understand your system, right? If you're going to write it down, cool, you got it. Great. Is it in a sandwich bag? Maybe it's double wrapped in 2 sandwich bags, buried in the backyard. You might want to study the water on your property. Those are all variables, right? All variables. So again, just, run the play, run it again, and then execute, and then check on the play, make sure it's still working. It's a constant mind on your money, money on your mind, man. It's a real job. It's a real job. It's
absolutely. Hey, well, Simon, let's change gears a little bit, as we're probably going to be finishing up here in a little bit. But so, what are you excited about? Where do you think the future is going here in the last? I've been saying this from January. I think Q4 is going to be absolutely big, and that's why I'm non-emotional to the markets. And matter of fact, since we've been on here, I see XRP's price has been shooting up. So maybe we're bringing some good.
What's the price? What's the price? Do we break over? We broke over 3 again?
Yeah, it's at 3, right? It's at 309 right now. But I think when we started, it was at like 301. Not extreme, not anything dramatic, but hey, maybe we're bringing good frequency to the world. But yeah, I've been saying Q4, I believe everything is aligning. And if we get the Clarity Act through, which is huge, in my opinion, we got all these ETFs, speaking of XRP, and that possibly could be coming onboarded here in October. What are we up to? 20 different XRP ETFs now. And I'm not saying, when I say all this, I'm not saying that it's going to go to $100 overnight. That's not how the markets work, in my opinion. But it's all awesome progress going into 2026, and absolutely seeing some great price appreciation, I think. What are your thoughts, Simon?
So I've dog year. I usually dog year March, April for short-term price appreciation, and as well as November, all the way to December is typically my range for price appreciation. So basically quarter 1 and quarter 4, fourth quarter, first quarter, so yeah, I would agree with that. I definitely could definitely see some price appreciation happening. What I look for personally, just on the price topic, of where we're still sideways. We're still that range, right? We did kiss some things, which was great. But we have yet to have things go like it's gone for Bitcoin, arguably the past 2 years or more, since we really bottomed out, actually almost 4 years ago. And now I'm just kind of looking for those same, not patterns, I guess, more volume movements, etc. Right? Because in my history of being in this space, it's one runs, then the others follow later. It doesn't have to. It's not step by step. It used to be, but it's not like that anymore. But nonetheless, the pattern is, in my opinion, that pattern is still there. This will go, and eventually, this will happen later. So, but yes, price movement. Yeah, we got legs. Literally, November is kind of where I'm looking at for a peak, a possible peak for me. That's what I'm looking for. And if not, then just like all other things, I'll move the goalpost down a little bit till Christmas, New Year's Eve, and then I'll move it a little bit more till about the end of January, which that would actually be really cool if that happened, because we'll be in Florida. We could watch it live all together. Yeah, that would be great. So, but yeah, I think bigger picture on that, as you said, there's a lot of good things coming out, and I want to talk about the ETFs. I think this is a great, wonderful thing. It allows the on-ramp of institutions. And if you have a retirement account at that institution, or there's some type of connection with one of your pensions, this is good for you. However, it still is a product. Remember, it's a product. Someone built a product around current regulations and the system that they already have, and they're making this work over here. So it's still a product. It'll be good. Ask me what it's like in 5 years. Oh, it's going to be beautiful, in my opinion. 5 years, 10 years. Woo! It's going to be crazy. In fact, in 10 years, I promise to go back and look at this video, August 24th, 2035. I will come back and watch this video. ETFs, flashback.
Yeah. I think the ETFs are a big deal, especially the spot ETFs. Because remember, ladies and gentlemen, they have a spot ETF. That's the ones we really want within this environment, because they have to hold the asset. And remember, it's not the institutions that are buying, it's the retail investors that are buying through the institutions. But those spot ETFs where they have to hold real XRP, that's where some of that supply demand is going to come into effect. And again, it's not going to be day one. It's going to take a while. I mean, we can look back. We have a historical perspective to look at with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and to see what was going on within the ETF environment and how that volume affected price stability and what was going on. It's going to take generally, I'd say 6 months for once those are implemented to really, there's going to be some hype around it. And obviously retail is going to FOMO in, and they're going to, there's going to be some price action, but for long-term longevity, as far as price appreciation, it's going to take some time for that momentum to pick up. But all good news. Again, that's what my opinion, that's what we want to look at, to see the utility and what's going on around these assets that we own, like XRP. That's what we are wanting.
On the ETF side too, when I first got in this space, one of my things was, how can I get my 401k in the digital asset space, right? Because that's where that's where the majority of my funds were, right? Now, in my specific situation, I couldn't even roll over because I'm a member of a union. So because of that, we have to move as one. Dang, but now fast forward, here we are. Now I'm going to be watching and pushing, my leadership in that regard to say, hey, can we get a membership with this company over here? Can we talk to the money management team that manages all our big funds and our 401ks and pensions, please? Because hello, this is literally the future, or at least give us the option, right? So I'm bringing that up to say, hey, if you have that ability, right, and you're looking for maybe another possibility, not a guarantee, of maybe being able to take some of those funds out of that certain market and get it over into this ETF market by some means, same shape or form. In my opinion, for me personally, I think that would be a great move for me and anybody else that could take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I bring this up oftentimes as well, because folks are looking for liquidity. We only make so much money a month. So one of the plays that I was able to do before even the 401k, I mean, we're seeing the infrastructure, we're seeing everything change, where we're going to have the capability in the future to, invest within our 401ks, hopefully within these markets. But, some folks out there they already have Roth accounts that are set up, traditional Roth accounts. And I'm talking about the ones that are not through your employer, that are 401k type Roth events. But a regular Roth account, being able to move that over to a product like iTrust Capital, you have an instant large bucket of liquidity capital that you then can invest inside of these markets. So, and taking it out of that traditional finance environment where you can only buy, Tesla stock and Apple and all these other products that you may have. So being able to, and sometimes folks just don't think about it, so when I bring that up, because if you're looking to move into the market, and again, this is a personal decision, this is not financial advice, but if you have a traditional Roth account, being able to move that into iTrust Capital or some other platform that you've done your due diligence on and research, it just gives you that much more percentage in this crypto, this digital asset space, which is absolutely going to be the future, in my opinion. And just as a huge play, just again, just keep these things in mind. Again, there's so many different ways to drive capital into the market.
Atlantic Living was saying, why no spot ETFs, US filings for XLM? That one I don't know. That one I do not know. Zip, you got some?
Yeah, interesting. No, I don't know the reason why there is not. Do I think there will be in the future? Yeah, I think all of these, because we already see the HBAR ones out there as well, Solana. I think once this market takes becomes fully mature, we're going to see large ETF. We're going to see ETFs across the board for those products that the institutions find that are viable. But I don't know why XLM by itself hasn't had one yet. Interesting.
No, it is, but look, you have Bitcoin ETF, then you had Ethereum ETF. Well, how come all the other chains on the Ethereum network didn't have their own ETF? You know what I mean? My point is each one's going to it's going to have to do its own time on the main stage in the sunlight. Is it going to hold up? Are the powers that be literally going to allow it? Because I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
At that level on them. This is a big business transaction, right? And we're getting to see that in real time, which yes, is frustrating and it is bamboozling in your mind. I'm like, are you stupid? I mean, that's just me on Main Street, right? I have no idea the mechanics at that level that need to happen, go on, and etc. Zero. I can speculate all day, but I know it's way above my pay grade. But I'm grateful to be seeing some of that because of this revolution, in my opinion, because of this digital asset space. I get a little peekaboo behind the curtain of how things are done in real time at that level. It's almost like being like literally not only on the field for oh my gosh, preseason for any sport, right? You get to go to the games, you get to watch that. No, you're there for training, you're there for suit up, you're there for breakfast. That's what we're getting to see. We're going to see all these other little variables that come in and during this process, man. And I really like that. So, but just remember that. Why is, well, they probably haven't had their chance to be in that environment to get a yes or a no or a maybe, let's work on it, etc.
Yeah, there's so many mechanics behind the scenes when it comes to financial services and offering products, and it's like I said, not my lane either. I don't understand it, but we will see what happens in the future. I mean, we've got so much going on right now. I mean, you got the whole administration, the whole United States, pretty much. Not that United States is everything, but driving to this digital asset space. And I saw Hoofty's comment in there, which is a good comment, talking about the markets and the trends as far as the 4-year cycles. I don't think that the cycles are going to necessarily stop, because we've had those same cycles in the traditional environment. There's always cycles. There's ups, there's downs. But I do think that the cycles will become less dramatic with regards to maybe them becoming more stabilized, so they're not so significant with the amount of losses and stuff, especially as we're seeing these institutions coming and onboarding and tokenization and everything else that'll keep it more stable, I guess. But yeah, I think there are probably still going to be some market cycles. Whether it's going to be as dramatic as 4 years, I don't know. I do think, in my opinion, with what we're seeing now, we're seeing what's going on with the administration and the world in general. I do think that this season could be extended a little bit longer. I mean, and there's folks out there that are a lot smarter than I am economically that are seeing the same things. So my point being is that the normal market and the length of it could be extended, because now we're getting all the regulation on board it and stuff like that. I do think that's a possibility, but again, I'm here to play the game just like everyone else, and we will see what happens. But you got to be in the game to be able to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a joke out there. Something about God, I want to win the lottery. God, next week passes. God, I want to win the lottery. That's all I want out of this life. I'll do good things. God, allow me to win the lottery. Next week, third prayer, God gets an answer. You have to play to win.
That's it.
So yeah, you gotta have a little skin in the game. I mean, and when I do say a little, I literally mean a little. Newbies that I've helped along through the years, I'm like, do $5 or $10, and they kind of get blown away at that because they're like, oh, I don't have to buy a whole crypto. I'm like, well, you can get a little bit over here, but that's going to take some extra steps. I just want you to do this one thing for me, and if you can do it, and then we're gonna have a conversation about it. Then I'll say, okay, now let's do another $10 over here, and let's get some education going big time. And that's literally, do you have Venmo, Cash App? Yes. Okay, cool. Go on there, hit this button. You're gonna go through a KYC process, know your customer. Okay, they want to make sure you are who you say you are, and it matches up with the information you've already provided. And then send $10 and just buy some Bitcoin or maybe some other coin that happen to be on those two apps and those two apps only. Don't be going to deviate. I know you're going to deviate, and I'm going to call you out on it, but it's helped them out so much just with those first baby steps. Oh, I'm acquiring. Hey, I'm in. And when I see the price go up or down, I'll say, hey, did you check your portfolio? Oh, no, I haven't. I haven't checked. From that, they'll check and they'll go, oh, it went down a little bit. I'm like, okay, this is a good conversation to talk about the air quotes bad side of crypto, but you didn't lose anything because you didn't sell. Oh, hey, I'm up a little bit. Hey, it's just a little bit. Don't poo-poo that, because if I would have given you the green light to throw in $100 or $1,000 or $500, it'd be this much, right? It's like, yeah, but if it went down the other way, would you be freaking out? Yeah, probably. Okay, that's why I had you do this. This was we're gonna learn how to get punched in the face without getting punched in the face.
Yeah, that onboarding, that's a smart onboarding process for new folks for sure.
Yeah.
And the key is you're building, it's like anything else. It's building that muscle memory, that habit.
Yep.
DCA in, you don't have to come in with $20,000 in one go ahead. Just DCA in, and every time you have $10, $100, whatever your amount is for your family, just keep on buying, because you're going to look back after a year and you're going to go, man, look how much of this bag, this crypto I have. It doesn't take much at all.
No, Hoofy, valid. Yeah, that was one of my first things I didn't know. I didn't know you didn't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You're right. I could have bought some Satoshis. Even that in onboarding though, I'll lose somebody. Oh, we're gonna buy some Satoshis. Wait, I thought we were buying Bitcoin. Satoshis are just a denomination of a Bitcoin. So like pennies to $1. Oh, okay, cool. So let's go buy a little bit of some Bitcoin or some pennies called Satoshis. Yeah, valid. Hey, looks like we're over the 2-hour mark here, Zip. So I say we let these kiddos go for their Sunday. Is there anything you want to add, mention, talk about before we cut the cord?
No, I think we're good. I think we should probably mention, you might have mentioned it in the beginning before I was on, but the big event for the Staple Crew going on at the end of January. I don't know if we posted it in the comments or not, but tickets are still for sale, I think. And
okay, perfect. Perfect. No, I did not. I didn't post that. I did talk about it though. I just want to know who's all going, who's going to be there, because I'm excited to meet some more of the crew. I like it. I'm very excited, and it gets me out of my cold state during the winter months. Woohoo! So it's a triple factor for me. But yes, yeah, that event's going down in January. So
yep, looking forward to it as well. I can't wait. I'm bringing a lot of my family there as well, so it's going to be
awesome.
Big event.
The angel, my angel, she's on board. We just gotta play the timing game to see if life does not intervene some magical way.
I see Elizabeth out there. Glad everyone's doing good on the trip there. She still has one puppy left. So hopefully you guys are having a phenomenal trip out there, Alan and Elizabeth, and hopefully get to see you here in the next week. But be safe out there. And for everybody, I appreciate you today, Simon. This was awesome. And
yeah, it was cool. I had a good time.
Yeah, we had an excellent time, and everybody just stay safe out there, be smart, stay non-emotional, and security is the key. I know we talked a lot about that, but that's one of the most important factors out there. Stay secure and have that accountability partner, as Elizabeth called it a few weeks ago, if you get emotional.
100%. And if you can make it to any type of meetup to solidify that accountability partner, I would say it's worth your time, energy, and resources to just do that, because you're going to save in the long run. Zip, it's good talking to you, brother. Stay for after the show. I want to chat before I end the stream. Everybody else, God bless and good night, and we'll catch up with you again at the crew. Take care. Oh, I got to hit one more button. Now really take care.